Hello, church family. It's your WIN crew, Lisa, Rose, Redamosa, and we've got Kristen and Carla over here. You're going to see them in just a second. And so you're going to get a box. It may look like this or be any kind of Costco size box. So it'll have everything that you need in the right proportions. If you didn't get a box and you want to make this meal, I will later get a list of ingredients and you can shop and make it whenever you want. But once you've done this once, it'll be so easy and you can riff off this basic menu and create infinite varieties of things. So I am going to explain everything as we go, but first, because I got to get this rice going, I'm going to start the rice. So we're going to jump back and forth, and through the magic of television or whatever, Facebook, you'll figure this out. So in your box, you've got the rice and the liquid. So what we're going to do is you heat up your pan. I've already put the oil in, but ideally you'd want to heat the pan and then put the oil in. So what's interesting about Mexican rice, that Mexican rice, you know, the red rice that you have, or sometimes it's like a chicken broth color or yellow, is actually a Middle Eastern thing. So, you know, Mexico, kind of like the US, is a melting pot. So there's lots of culinary influences, lots of cultural influences. So the rice that you have it's a Middle Eastern variety. And we're gonna have Kristen chop the celery and the onion for the rice, which, you know, maybe at home, that's what you're going to do is chop your rice and your celery. Just a small dice, 1/4-inch dice is fine. So the technique here is to toast the rice, which is what I'm doing. You toast the rice in a little bit of oil in a hot pan first. It brings out, it's going to flavor the broth, but it also, you've begun the cooking process. So it's just a really nice, gentle way to get the rice started. And I love toasting the rice before I make rice with any kind of broth or stock or anything like that. It just gives it a better flavor. So this is what's going to take the longest. That's why we are starting here first. So by the time we plate everything, the rice will be done. And hopefully I won't burn it, because that happens. So anyway, rice is toasting, Kristen is chopping. Now what we're going to do is get the rice toasted. Once it browns, then you add the onion and the celery. So it's not a traditional mirepoix, which would have carrots. This is just celery and onion. So your seasoning liquid that you're going to have with your rice has chicken broth, tomato sauce, garlic, pepper, cumin, and a little bit of salt. So I'm going to go over to Kristen and get my veg. Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome.
Now that's some nice chopping. Everybody look at that. So nice in uniform. Very nice. Okay. So we're going to put this in. We don't need it all. That's probably good. So this is Pastor Sarah's box. She has, so for the kids VBS class, we did Sarah Zimmerly's. And this time it's Pastor Sarah. So I think she'll probably, that way she doesn't have to cook. She's got kids Zooming and...
Is that cranberry juice? What is that?
No, it's tomato.
Oh, okay.
Why would we do cranberry juice? Oh my gosh. Okay, so you pour the liquid in, you bring it to a boil, and you reduce it to a simmer, and that's pretty much it. And after 15 minutes, turn it off. And then you let it sit for like 5 minutes and your rice should be done.
The lid?
Yes, there is a lid. Where to put it? Here it is. All right, so it's boiling. It's reduced, so that's good. Okay. Now, the grill pan is heating up. You can use a barbecue. You can use a grill pan if you don't want to grill outside. If it's a gas grill, make it really hot, like high. Clean the grill with your grill brush. We're using it's a Le Creuset grill pan, but you could again use a cast iron skillet, non-stick skillet, whatever. You need to cook both sides, and we're gonna put it in the oven actually. And the oven's on. Great. So this is getting hot. A good way to measure it is when you have to pull your hand away, then you know that it's ready. So it's almost ready. So when you guys pick up your boxes, you're going to have a marinade and a steak. As soon as you get home, if you're gonna cook Wednesday, if you're gonna cook tomorrow, because you could cook it Wednesday, you could cook it Thursday. Pretty much Wednesday, Thursday. You could probably even wait till Friday. But don't marinate it until like an hour before. So you pour the marinade over the meat, push all the air out of the bag, and lay the meat flat and leave it at room temperature. When you're grilling and cooking meat, any animal protein, you want it to be at room temperature. So here we go. Carne asada is down. We're going to get some nice grill marks, and then we're going to put it in the oven to finish. Okay, so that's grill marking. The rice is cooking. After we're done with that, Carla, you want to go start chopping vegetables? And Kristen, you can start on the salad. So they're going to be prepping the vegetables that we're going to grill. So Pastor Manuel, if you want to pan over to Kristen and Carla. All right. Perfect. So Kristen is doing a julienne cut. And what we've got for the salad is a green and red cabbage mixture, which is kind of nice when you have like you can do iceberg lettuce on a taco, but I really like cabbage. I like the crunch of cabbage. It has more nutritional value. I think it's prettier. So she's also got some cilantro. Now you're gonna have to do this at home. Chop your 2 vegetables, your cabbage and your green onion and your cilantro, and mix it all together. And then Carla, I put a little bit of olive oil in the bowl, just a little bit. And you see Carla's doing bigger cuts on her vegetables because we're going to grill those. So if it's super thin, it's going to fall through the grates, it's going to burn. We want it thick enough where it can hold up on the grill, but not fall through. So again, if you're doing this in a pan, you don't have to do, it's up to you, whatever size cuts you want to do. Just if you have, if you're gonna grill it with grill grates, just be careful you don't lose it's so small that you lose your pieces in the grill.
The green onion?
Yes, you can slice the green onion, put it in there too. Let me get you a bigger bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think that bowl is big enough.
Nope.
Okay. Okay, this one's way too big, but it'll be fine.
It's fine.
Yes. Too big or too small, those are the choices. Okay, so Pastor Daniel, if you want to come back over to the carne asada. Okay, when you're ready.
The onions got a little small.
That's okay, we have a grill pan.
They kind of fell apart.
That's okay, we have a grill pan, so we'll be okay, but cooks at home, maybe cut it in bigger than you think it should be.
Yeah.
So I can tell that the meat is ready to flip because it's starting to turn color. It's browning at the edges. So I'm going to flip it. Very nice. And then as soon as I get grill marks, I'm going to put it on the sheet pan to put in the oven. Perfect. And I can start grilling my vegetables at the same time. So we are grilling vegetables. We're getting some grill marks on. Now you can grill it till they're ready and done on the grill, or you can grill mark it and then put it in the oven for a couple minutes. which is what I'm gonna do, because it's gonna speed up the process and, so we don't have the vegetables too al dente, which means too much of a bite to them. We want them a little bit soft. Because we're gonna make tacos with these when we eat. So we have lots of beautiful veg that is, and the vegetables, you know, I love all the colors. That's what I try to do, is work as many colors onto the plate as possible. That's like nature's way of saying, eat me. It's all these colors, and it's the things that have the most vitamin content, the most going for it, antioxidants. It's the things with the most color. So I know a lot of you don't like red bell peppers, gives you acid reflux or whatever. Just keep trying, because they're so good for you. And I'm speaking to the cameraman.
I like potatoes.
Yeah.
Potatoes are really good for you.
He does not like any bell peppers, and I've been trying for, I don't know, a couple decades, trying to get him to.
Potatoes are colorful.
Yeah, you like potatoes. They're blue
Jason will
potatoes.
eat them. Purple potatoes.
Yes.
Jason will only eat bell peppers raw.
Yeah.
Not eat them cooked.
So, what's nice about red bell peppers, when you cook them, when you grill them or roast them, they get the kind of char, it brings out their sweetness, and you might like them like that. So, anyway, just try. Do me a favor, please. For your own health, just keep trying. Anyway, let's talk about the marinade for the steak. So this is my grandmother-in-law's marinade, Lucy Redamosa, Grandma Redamosa. It's about equal parts soy sauce and orange juice, with some garlic and pepper. And so what I want you to get the idea is that you take this basic marinade and you can go in any direction with it. Let's say you don't have orange juice, you have pineapple juice, or you have mango juice. I've done both of those, and it turns out really well. So use whatever juice you have. If you have limes and lemons, use that. Use whatever citrus or juice, and it'll turn out well. I've added a few dashes of hot sauce. That is really good. Some red chili, you can do that. So just play around with it. Once you have the basic idea, then you're the Julia Child of your kitchen. You can do whatever you want, and it'll be right, because that's what you decided. So, anyway, this has enough grill mark on it, I think, to put in the oven. I'm going to put a little bit more of the veg on before we put it in the oven. And the rice is going. So this is just, and this menu works well for if you're diabetic, keto, if you're doing just low carb, whatever it is that you're doing, this is a good menu. And being in Southern California, we can do this all year long. We can do it whenever we want. Now you can do this with chicken. You could do it with fish, although fish is a little bit hard to grill. They have some things you can use, like the grillable cedar planks, or you could use, they have grill pans with like holes in them for the grill. Or shrimp, you can do it with shrimp. I mean, now for fish, you'd want to do a really quick marinade, really fast, because it'll absorb it so fast. It's almost like tofu. It absorbs it really quickly. Let me check the rice here. I'm going to turn the rice off, let it sit. It's going to carry over cook. So we did a 2-to-1 ratio, almost, on the rice. It's a long grain rice. So this one, it's half a cup of rice, and I did a little less than a cup of liquid, because we put oil in there, there's water in the celery and the onion, and if you do a full, ratio, then your rice will be a little wet. So I think we're good here. There's enough grill marking and char on here that we're going to put it in the oven to let it finish. And it's up to you how you want your steak to be. Like, that's probably medium rare right now. Carne asada usually is well done. But again, you're the Julia child. You do what you want. I'm just gonna. I know that maybe Ezra and Zoe maybe don't want all the way cooked through. Okay, and we'll put that in the oven. Thank you, Carla. Put that in the oven for a couple minutes. So maybe about 5 minutes. So while that is finishing, I'm going to talk to you about what else we have going on here. So I'm going to go over to Kristen and get our salad, which is beautiful. I mean, look at all this color. Now you're going to have cilantro in your dinner kit. It's okay if you don't like cilantro. You don't have to use it. You can make compost with it. But again, if you don't mind it, I suggest it's another layer of flavor. It's really good. I'm not going to put the dressing on this for Pastor Sarah. I'm going to let her do that when she gets it. But basically, you'll have another container, and it's going to be, I'm going to use a seasoned rice vinegar, olive oil, salt and pepper, and you're just going to pour it on here, mix it up. We're going to pretend it's dressed. We don't want it to wilt for Pastor Sarah. So we talked about that. The other elements, you've got some queso fresca, some Mexican fresh cheese, really good. You've got some flour tortillas, unless you request it gluten-free, then yours will be corn. I'm not going to go into how to heat up the tortilla. I'm sure you guys can figure that out. We did make a little corn relish for you. So basically it is frozen corn, kidney beans, black beans, the same dressing that is going to go on this salad. So it is seasoned rice vinegar, olive oil, salt, pepper. I think we put a little cumin in this though. So let's talk about charcuterie. Now I can talk about that because we got all this going and working, and now I can talk for a little bit. So charcuterie is French for meat on a board, meat on a platter is basically what it is. So there's a lot of freedom in that. You can do whatever you want. You could do a platter, you could do a board. Now if you were going to do the traditional charcuterie, you'd have different types of meats like salami, pancetta, mortadella, all those things, and you'd kind of fan it out and weave it in, and you'd have different cheeses like a cow's cheese, sheep, goat, and what you're aiming for on your charcuterie board is variety. So what I like to do is have like a hard cheese, a soft cheese, and it's what you like or you think your guests might like. If you know people aren't going to like the blue cheese, don't get the blue cheese. But if you're trying to get them toward blue cheese, maybe go with a Camisola, which is like a brie that has a little bit of blue, which is easier kind of gateway to blue cheese. I'm talking about cheese too much. But you can also put some olives in, some nuts. I like to cut up fruit. I like to get maybe like a fancy jam, like a fig jam or something, and put it on the soft cheese. You can also put herbs on there. I mean, any direction. But what we're doing is carne asada, which is kind of an exciting idea. And I just like to mix the two just so you know. There's another thing I want to talk about is presentation. So we are visual, we're visual eaters. We eat with our eyes. We want to eat what's beautiful. And kids will try things that they wouldn't necessarily try if it looks good.
Like a Mickey Mouse face.
Sure, but we're not making pancakes. So anyway, how you plate this. So the rice, let me check the rice, see how we're doing. I don't think I've ever made this little amount of rice in my life. So it looks okay. Yeah, it looks alright. Probably just a couple more seconds. Have you seen the movie Close Encounters? Richard Dreyfuss makes the mountain of mashed potatoes. It's kind of what you do if you're going to build a platter that everything is going to be on. So you'd probably put the starch at the bottom, like a plateau or mountain or whatever, and then you put things on the sides, and then people can, it's a very Mediterranean way of serving. So that's kind of what we're going to do with the charcuterie. Charcuterie Carne Asada. So let me get out, and I think we can turn everything off now. So that'll be nice. All right. Okay, so you can see right here that we've got some juices here from the carne asada and from the vegetables. We're gonna let that sit for about 5 minutes to let the juices redistribute. What happens when you grill a piece of animal protein and you know, you've done all this, you wanna eat right away, you start slicing into it, all the juice drains out of the piece of meat and it ends up being really dry. So we're letting it relax, we're letting the juices redistribute so it won't be dry. So it shouldn't be dry anyway because we marinated it. But, so I mean, if you just look at how beautiful that is and all the color that we have. And again, my hope in doing this with you is that you learn some sort of basic idea or a couple ideas. You learn how to do it and then explore in any direction that you want. You are the Julia child, you're in charge, do whatever you want. So, we're letting that sit because I don't want Pastor Sarah's steak to not be good. I want it to redistribute for her. So, let's talk about giving. So this is a fundraiser. We'd really like for you to give generously. This is for WIN. This is for, you know, the kitchen budget. You know, we overspend because we are feeding as many people as possible. And so it's kind of a good problem to have. We don't want to be too frugal and people are not fed and happy and you know, we're a big family and you don't want people not to get, and we're being very hospitable to everyone who comes in. So anyway, having said that, please give generously. What would, you know, whatever you'd pay going out to eat, think of that plus more. And just go ahead.
With a tip.
Yeah, with a tip. And be generous. Be generous. It's for WIN. It's a good cause. So you can do that through Venmo. There should be a pinned push pay in the comment section. So find that and you'll be able to do that. Or you can, when you pick up, you can bring cash or a check or drop it by the church office, whatever you want. And let's say you donated money and then you ate and you wanted to donate again, do that too. And we've got 4 more of these after this-ish, we'll see. So there'll be plenty of opportunity. If you didn't get to participate in this one, you can go and get all the ingredients and do it yourself. And the next ones you can join if you want, or again, do it the same way. Maybe you don't want to get a box. Maybe that's a hassle, or you just want to do it yourself when you have time. So you can do that too. So anyway, is that too hot? No, that's good. Okay, so we're going to build our platter. Now, obviously this board is too big because this is only for 2 people. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to take our rice and we're going to kind of put this, and again, make it how you want. You don't have to follow any directions except what you want to do. However it looks nice to you. This is like art, so have fun. And then we've got the carne asada. Actually, I think I'm going to put the veg on. Oh, and do me a favor. I want to see your platters. I want to see how it turns out for you. So take some pictures, and please put your families in the pictures. That would be really nice to see, and I think everyone would love to see everybody's creations. And you'd think, oh, it's all going to look the same. I mean, yes and no. So it'll be just fun. It'll be a way we can all participate together. So this is kind of how I'm doing it. All right. So flank steak. Okay, flank steak. See, there's a grain, like in a tree, like in wood. You want to cut against the grain because this is so lean. And remember how we talked about the old lady witch claw hand technique? I know that's not a very sensitive way of saying it, but I got it from my kids' cooking classes. You hold your knuckles back, use your knuckles as a guide, and that way you don't cut yourself. And thin cuts. Now, again, this is going to be your preference, how you want to do this. So you could put it this way on there. Or you could do it the full carne asada way and chop it into small bites. And then you don't even need a knife on the table. You could just, although you may need to cut the vegetables. So I'm going to leave it like that and let Pastor Sarah and Kevin decide what they want to do. So again, there's your carne asada. Super easy. And a marinade that, you know, takes like an hour at room temperature is so nice. So, Carla, could you give me a spoon? Thank you. So we've got the black bean corn relish. Now you could, I could probably work all this on here. And that's what you kind of do when you're building a charcuterie tray. You're like scooting things around, and as you get more stuff on, it's kind of condensing. So then we've got the salad, and we've got the cheese, queso fresca, and we've got the corn and bean salad. I'm not going to put it all on there because I don't want to ruin their dinner. But there you go. That's it. There's your carne asada charcuterie platter. This is for two.
So pretty.
So lots of color going on. You're going to heat up your tortillas. Now you can just put it all in a tortilla if you want, or you know, there are people that don't like their food touching. Maybe, and you just attack it any way you want. But something that my grandmother-in-law always did, a kitchen towel, just a clean kitchen towel. As you're heating up the tortillas, put the tortillas in a kitchen towel and just set them on the table, and then you've got warm tortillas. They're keeping each other warm and happy in there, and you've got tortillas to pull from. You don't have to get up and go heat up your tortillas.
A clean kitchen towel.
Clean kitchen towel, not the one that you clean the
You just
bathroom
wiped up the
with.
milk with.
Yes, yes, yes. And my grandmother-in-law always would get a kitchen towel that she had crocheted the edge of. She always had a pretty one for the table for the tortillas. So this is this right here is gluten-free. It is it's low carb-ish. You know, if you want to do low carb, maybe don't eat too much of the rice. Have a bite or two of the corn, but go for the other stuff. So anyway, and if you have any questions, I will be watching the video when it goes, and you can put it in the chat, and I will respond. So anyway, that's it. Yes.
I have a question. On the cheese, do you grate it or do you slice it?
You just slice it. It's super soft.
Okay.
That's a good question. You just slice a piece off and put it in your tortilla, or you can crumble it.
Okay.
However you want. It's really soft. It doesn't really grate. So, and that's it.
All right.
Thank you. Have fun. I want to see those pictures.